All right, let's jump right into it. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating digital product that sits right at the intersection of a massive parenting challenge and a booming digital market. We are looking at the KidVenture screen-free prompt pack, released under the NextWise AI brand. If you've ever found yourself desperately searching for ways to keep kids engaged without just handing them a tablet, or hey, if you're a digital entrepreneur looking for efficient ways to build low-content activity books, this explainer is absolutely for you. We're going to break down exactly what this product is, how it works, and most importantly, whether it's actually worth your time and money.
So let's start with a question that represents a pretty universal struggle. How on earth do you keep an 8-year-old off a screen for more than 45 minutes on a long, rainy afternoon? We've all been there, right? And the reality is, it's rarely a technology problem. It's an ideas problem. The exact moment we run out of fresh, engaging offline activities to suggest, well, the tablet usually wins by default. And that right there is the exact pain point KidVenture claims to solve.
What's wild about this product is that it targets a dual audience. On one hand, you have exhausted parents and teachers who are just desperate for structured offline activities. But on the other hand, you have digital entrepreneurs, folks publishing on Amazon KDP or selling on Etsy, who are constantly looking for highly efficient ways to build low-content activity books. KidVenture is actually designed to serve both of these goals simultaneously.
Here's a quick roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at the screen-free challenge. Then, we'll take a peek inside the prompt pack, walk through the 3-step workflow, analyze the market opportunity, break down the pricing and real value, and wrap it all up with our final verdict.
Okay, Part 1. The screen-free challenge.
Now, the context here is absolutely crucial. Back in 2026, the American Academy of Pediatrics updated their guidelines. They moved towards a more nuanced, quality-based evaluation of screen time rather than just rigid hour limits. But pediatric specialists still consistently link excessive screen exposure in kids under 10 to issues with mood, concentration, and stress. And that brings us to the vendor's origin story for this product, Sarah from Seattle. She was a parent just completely exhausted by the daily 2 p.m. tablet battle, so she started creating these specific AI prompts to generate offline activities her kids actually wanted to do. Whether that story is a clever marketing narrative or hard fact, the underlying pain point, that is undeniably real.
Moving on to Part 2. Inside the prompt pack.
What's really interesting here is how the 480 AI-powered prompts, which are specifically designed for ChatGPT, are neatly broken down into 4 distinct modules, and each one targets specific cognitive and motor skills. So the I Spy counting games build visual focus and number recognition, Spot the Difference drives attention to detail and patience, you've got the dot-to-dot module reinforcing hand-eye coordination and pencil control, while the Cut and Create Fun Book targets fine motor development and scissor use. You see, it's not just random busy work. There's a real educational framework baked in.
Drilling down a bit further, each of those 4 modules contains 120 prompts. But the real game changer is the structure itself. The prompts are divided into 3 difficulty tiers: beginner for ages 5 to 6, intermediate for ages 7 to 8, and advanced for ages 9 to 10. This is a massive time saver, honestly, because it allows you to scale the challenge appropriately without having to manually tweak the AI prompt to figure out the right complexity. Plus, they're designed to instantly generate activities across dozens of kid-friendly themes, from outer space to jungle animals.
All right, Part 3. The 3-step workflow. Understanding this workflow is literally the difference between getting value from this pack or just letting it collect digital dust on your hard drive. Step 1, you choose a prompt from the pack and just paste it into ChatGPT. In seconds, the AI gives you a structured activity concept, complete with instructions and visual elements to look for. Step 2, you organize these generated activities by difficulty to create a graduated experience. Easy pages first, harder ones later. And finally, Step 3, you take that raw AI output and format it in a layout tool like Canva or Microsoft Word to create your final printable PDF.
I want to be radically transparent with you here to build some real understanding. ChatGPT handles the content generation, but you handle the layout and visual polish. KidVenture is not a standalone, done-for-you software app. It doesn't magically spit out a beautifully designed, finished PDF on its own. It solves the blank page problem by giving you the exact prompts to generate the content, but you absolutely must be prepared to roll up your sleeves and do the formatting work in Canva or Word to make it look good.
Let's shift gears to Part 4, the market opportunity.
Get this, there are roughly 90,000 monthly searches for kids' activity books on Amazon KDP alone. 90,000. The children's activity book market is a $2 billion annual segment. And within that massive market, niche formats like I Spy or Spot the Difference, which are the exact formats this prompt pack generates, carry significantly lower competition than the broad category. That makes them highly accessible entry points for new publishers on Amazon or Etsy.
And the initial adoption of this specific product really seems to reflect that demand. The vendor reported that in the product's first month, 1,065 families joined what they called a Play Rebellion movement. That resulted in over 18,000 activities being printed and used. They also reported a 97% parent satisfaction rate. Now, obviously, these are vendor-reported numbers from a sales page, so treat them as directional. But the sheer specificity of the data points to a really strong initial market response.
But honestly, the most compelling metric from all of this is right here. An average of 5.5 hours of weekly screen-free engagement per child. If that metric is even partially accurate for the average user, it vividly illustrates the practical utility of these printables. Displacing 5.5 hours of digital screen time a week with hands-on, cognitive-building physical activities, that is a major win for parents, and it's a clear indicator of why buyers just keep searching for this type of content online.
Which brings us to Part 5, Pricing and Real Value.
So, what's the damage? The core product is priced at a highly accessible $14. And yes, that is a one-time payment. There are no sneaky monthly subscription fees to worry about down the line. They anchor this against an $87 regular price, but the reality today is you can get the entire set of 480 prompts for just $14.
Let's do the math on why that $14 is actually significant. When you divide that price tag by the 480 prompts you receive, it comes out to less than 3 cents per prompt. For some context, a single custom kids activity worksheet designed by a freelancer on Fiverr generally runs anywhere between $5 and $30. This means the entire KidVenture pack costs significantly less than commissioning a single bespoke design job. For you publishers out there, your break-even point is effectively your very first unit sold.
Now, the sales funnel itself is refreshingly lean. You've got the $14 core product and exactly one optional upsell, the Trace, Find, and Learn Mega Pack for $18. That brings the absolute maximum you can spend in this funnel to $32. No aggressive, endless upsell maze here. However, pay attention to this. The guarantee is a 7-day window. That's a lot shorter than the standard 30 days you usually see. So if you buy this, you need to test the workflow immediately. Download the prompts, paste a few into ChatGPT, and make sure you actually like the output within that first week.
Finally, Part 6, the final verdict.
So based on the structured logic, the real educational value of the modules, and that incredibly low cost per prompt, our final verdict lands at a very solid 4.4 out of 5. KidVenture is a massive time saver. It effectively solves the blank page ideas problem, completely removing the hardest part of content creation. But, and this is a big but, you must go in with your eyes wide open. You have to be willing to handle the visual layout and formatting yourself. Which leaves us with one final, provocative question to ask yourself. Are you ready to roll up your sleeves, use these prompts to generate the raw content, and build your own layouts in Canva? Or do you realistically prefer buying more expensive, pre-made, done-for-you workbooks? If you've got a few minutes to spare for formatting, the value here is undeniable. But you really have to know your own working style. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. Until next time,